Batman Incorporated number 8, written by Grant Morrison, art by Chris Burnham and Jason Masters. So, nothing of consequence happens in this issue. Last week we left off with Batman being trapped in a safe underwater and Robin, Damian leaving the Batcave to go help him. And we see that he got into like a robot Iron Man suit and he's flying in towards central Gotham. He looks down and he sees Jim Gordon and Nightwing fighting off a whole bunch of kids who were brainwashed by Leviathan. And he immediately comes in, lays down some smoke, choking gas, and all the kids are basically knocked out. And Nightwing's like, okay, I have a good idea where he's headed to. I'm going to leave the police to handle this. So he follows Damian as Damian makes his way to Wayne Tower. We see that Batman is still submerged in the safe in the pool, and Talia is just taunting him, being like, oh, tick-tock, running out of time. Batman coughs up a lockpick, which manages to get him out of his restraints, but he's still, trapped in a safe. So then we cut to Red Robin, who just walks in the front door of Wayne Tower, and he's like, hey, is everything cool in here? And people inside are like, yeah, what's with the costume? And he's like, oh, I'm with Batman Incorporated. I just thought there was something dangerous about this place. And that young girl from last issue, her name is Ellie. I can't remember if that was established, but she's looking on because she hid earlier on. And one of the guys is about to attack Red Robin. And, oh no, sorry, her name's not Ellie. No, she is Ellie. So I guess Ellie was the person behind it. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, she tells Red Robin to look out as one of the guys goes to attack him. They dodge some blows and Red Robin starts taking out some guys. But then backup arrives from the balcony. Red Robin takes down a plane accidentally and he loses his grip, but not before taking out a whole bunch of the guys on the balcony. And so he's about to be shot at again. But then Damian comes busting in his Iron Man suit, along with a bunch of kids who come in after him to attack. Damian's getting the crap beat out of him, but because he's in his suit, it doesn't care. And then he electrifies everybody and says, yeah, water plus electricity plus idiots equals... And then all of a sudden, more people show up to shoot. Nightwing comes in, tackles Damian out of the way. They have a little heart-to-heart, saying like, hey, we were Batman and Robin once in our pre-New 52 series. We were pretty good, and you were my favorite partner. And Nightwing's like, yeah, we were awesome. All right, let's go kick some ass. So they jump from behind their cover, throw down some smoke bombs, and start beating the crap out of everybody. And they specifically show that Ellie is now hiding underneath a tank that's in the main room for some reason. So out of the elevator comes Heretic, and he's holding the World Bomb trigger, which I think was the thing that was set up last issue. Damian and Nightwing pop out of the smoke. They punch Heretic in the face. It does nothing. And so Heretic picks up Nightwing and just throws him across the room and starts getting into a fight with Damian. And Damian's like, hey, take me to my mom. I know that I'm the one she wants. And Heretic's like, no, we're going to fight. We're going to fight and you're finally going to know me, your twin, my equal. And so he pulls out a sword and Damian gets a spear and they just start fighting each other in a pretty brutal fight, all things considered. Ellie picks up the world bomb trigger in the meantime. So once Damian gets knocked out for a little bit, Heretic goes over and says, like, you're going to give me that. And Damian pulls out a crossbow and says, I promised I was never going to kill again. And he shoots Heretic through supposedly the heart, but again, it does nothing. And then they just continue to fight for a little while. And Heretic, nothing is able to take him down. Robin keeps on getting beat up, bloodied. He is not doing well until finally he is cornered against a wall. And he's just under his breath pleading for his mom to call off this monster. Meanwhile, we see Batman has managed to make it out of the safe. He is jumping off the roof and tackling one of the Man-Bats to get down to the lower floor. But then we get a full-page spread of Damian being impaled by his sword. And the final page is Talia just crying a silent tear as Bruce, as Batman, comes in and cradles Damian's dead body. And that's it. That is the death of Damian Wayne. Um, I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, with a cover like this issue has, you know it's coming, but it's still crazy to me looking back on it 10 years later that they actually did this, you know, because it wasn't that long ago that Damien was actually introduced in terms of before this issue. It was only maybe like 5 years or so, and they had the cojones to just say no, he's dead, and left him dead for a decent amount of time at that. So all in all, I think this issue is it's a good send off to Damian. Not only does it have that minute with Nightwing of saying, "Hey, we were a Batman and Robin, we were pretty good," gave the emotional beat, but it also was just solely focused on no, he's good. He didn't die because he was just an inept character. He died because he was put up against something he could never possibly handle. And I appreciate that it's not a cheap death, you know. As for art, I mean, Chris Burnham's been doing the art on the whole thing. I will say that Jason Masters, his fill-in pages are really obvious as to where it is him, but it's not bad. It's just obvious. It doesn't quite flow, but I don't think anything can really match Chris Burnham's art, so there's that. Overall, I'd give this one... I don't know. It feels like because it's the death of a character, it should rate higher just because it's an important moment, but being an important moment doesn't just get away with, you know, it doesn't automatically give it a 10. So I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it an 8 flat. I'm just giving it 8. I think that the biggest thing this issue is lacking is there isn't a moment between Bruce and Damian. I think that that's the moment I would have said if they had nailed it just a little bit more, I would have been all in. Mind you, they have been doing that over in Batman and Robin, but I just wanted it here as well, you know? Just that little extra thing of right before he dies, just having even a flashback would have sold it, but it was missing that. So I'm just going to half a point off for that. But otherwise, great issue. Definitely sells the punch of Damian is dead. And yeah, we'll see how Batman Incorporated manages to wrap up from there.